All made it back to the championship ring.
Thinking of me, just like I know you should. I cannot get
Oh, dear.
everything. You know, I wish I could.
All right, guys, welcome in. As you can tell, I'm here
We're in
alone.
different places.
Nate's somewhere else, but he's still thinking of me.
Yep.
Nate abandoned this cloudy, rainy Utah weather, and he's down in Southern California enjoying some warm sunshine and some family
Oh,
time.
it's very, very nice, man. To go from what we want, getting soaked in the rain last night to nice 75-degree weather, sunshine. Oh, it's a nice day.
Soon enough, soon enough. Utah's going to hit the 70s the rest of the week. I feel like
Yep.
it's warming up. Like this has been one of the coldest Mays I can ever remember here in Utah.
Yeah, it's been weird.
The weird part for me is I feel like it's springtime right now.
Yeah.
But
And it
yeah,
should be hitting summer.
Derby season just kicked off like
Yep.
real big in northern Utah last night. And
What?
here we are, like the heart of Derby season is 2 months away.
Yep.
And it doesn't even feel like it's real because like I haven't even started like cars.
No.
I haven't
To
even
me,
brought cars into my house that I plan on building for the summer because I feel like it's still springtime.
yep. Yeah, that's what this Utah weather gives us. I told some guy at the gas station today, I'm like, hey, man, somebody should probably tell Utah that it's almost summer. Like, I don't know why the hell it's snowing and raining right now.
Yeah,
So,
it's been absolutely crazy. A little depressing, but
yeah,
I think that better days to come and it's coming fast.
I think so. I hope that this is the last rain and snowstorm we get for a little bit. That way, when I get home from here, I can get my ass to work on my car.
Yeah.
So, we got a lot of great things to come in that department.
So some of us have to stay home and work. Some of us get to go on vacation and play.
Hey, that's fine. That's fine.
How
Some
would
of
it
us have
be?
to every once in a while.
How would it be?
Hey, didn't you take 2 vacations like in a 3 week span? I mean,
No,
technically you were working at one of them, but still vacation.
no, those are called trips. Technically, what you're on's a family trip.
That is true.
I
That is
don't know. It's
true.
kind of vacation. You guys are doing fun things. Like when I
Yeah,
go
but
to New York, I always say that isn't vacation. That's a family trip.
oh yeah.
It's not
Yeah,
like
and
I'm off in the Bahamas somewhere, but
I give my wife shit because this isn't really a vacation. I'm working harder walking around that damn place than I would be walking around anywhere else.
yeah.
So,
Well,
but Brad,
Nate, let's jump into it. May
so we had a
Mania
derby
is
last night.
yeah, it's in the books, man. It's I don't know how you feel, but I felt like it was a pretty solid show.
I agree. I mean, honestly, I went in with the expectation of last year's show where, like, no offense to anybody that drove last year, I thought it was a very lackluster show. Just because, like, we've gone from building these heavy cars to now we're putting them back into the basics. Like we're
Yeah.
just knocking the windows out and going and throwing cages in them. So it's going to take the drivers some time to get used to those builds and driving those. So I think that's where we got the change this year, is people felt a lot more comfortable driving them this year.
Yeah, I definitely think that, like some people get in that train of thought, driving hard cars, like if you experienced like the current like Heber rules, Gold Rush or Blizzard Bash. I mean, let's be honest, even like the Stern Dirt Limited well aren't soft.
No,
The way
no.
they're letting you put, 8 plates on those to start out with. So when these guys are dropping down these wire cars, they think that they're, just complete marshmallows. But in all
Yeah.
sense, you're driving against cars the same strength.
Yeah, you and I have talked about that like at lengths. Like you go in thinking, "Oh man, my car's so soft, it's just going to get junk," but you don't realize that everything out there is built similar to what you did. They can't do anything more than you did. I mean, you get the lazy guys like myself that don't put forth the effort, so our car's just maybe not as strong as somebody else's car, but I mean, to
But I feel
me,
like that happens in every class.
yeah, it happens in the weld class. It happens in limited weld. It happens in mods.
Yeah.
Everything.
But I definitely think like comparing to last year, because last year was the first year that May Mania went to that rule
Yeah,
package. And it's a little different because other people like are I can probably name 8 or 10 shows right now in Utah that are all running that, but they're all running those rules as one and dones.
yeah,
May Mania is the first show that's running heats and a main, which definitely um I definitely think that people will drive a lot more conservative in those heats because they're trying
yeah,
to save their cars for the main.
yeah.
These one and dones, people get rowdy.
Oh
Um,
yeah. People don't care. They don't give a shit with
well,
the
they've
one and
only got
done.
to make that car last one heat.
Oh yeah. And
Um,
those heats are like 10, 15 minutes long at the max.
yeah, max. Last night I thought the heats were pretty good. I
Yeah, they
thought that
were.
was a lot better than last year for sure.
Yep. Yeah.
Um, the main event, A main and B main, I definitely would like to see something done there to bring the tempo up.
Yeah.
As a Derby fan, it's kind of boring to watch cars, like after,
Bro,
the
paint.
first 8 to 10 minutes, a lot of those better cars, or not better, but harder driving cars were
Yeah.
out. You had the guys that were, then the more competitive guys that were maybe, you know, driving for the W. Once it got down to those guys, it becomes not very
Entertaining.
entertaining for the crowd. And
And
sometimes as derby drivers, I feel like we forget that we're entertainers.
yeah. I mean, without those people in the stands cheering us on, like that prize money isn't there.
Yeah. And
If we
I'm scared that one day, like there for a minute, I really thought Utah was in a downward spiral. I really
yeah,
feel like we've recovered in the last 3 years,
yeah.
but my fear is that I don't want Utah to fall into that bump and grind,
East Coast
the
style driving.
wave back and forth in the middle of the arena, the sit in the middle, the
Yeah.
bump and grind. I don't want to fall into that because if we do that, we're gonna lose our crowds.
Oh, 100%.
We
I
lose
mean,
our crowds, we lose our prize money, we lose our prize money. Utah prize money is what is keeping Utah Demolition Derby afloat because we
yeah.
don't have the drivers per capita as
The
these
Wisconsins, the
Wisconsin,
Minnesotas, the
Ohio's,
Ohio.
like that region. We just don't have the drivers per capita, and
No.
it's a long haul for these guys to come down from Minnesota,
Yeah.
from North Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Ohio. It's a long haul for these guys
Yeah.
to come in. They do it. We got guys coming from the West Coast, California.
Yeah.
California was there last night. They're making
Well,
the
even
haul,
Canada.
but they're coming because we have great payouts.
Yeah.
If we lose those payouts, who's going to come here?
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I get that these guys want the W, and that's fine. Like, I have no issue with that. But I mean, in that A main last night, I felt like Zacharias could have won that 45 minutes before he did. And I mean, you had that shocker that was in there that, I mean, that thing was, one good head on, it's going to belly that shocker out. And he could have done that with one fell swoop if he,
Well, I thought that shocker would have been bellied out long before it was. I'd
no.
really like to become friends with that guy and have him give me some pointers. I've drove a lot of shockers in my day, but man, that dude kept that car straight for a long, long time.
Dude, and that kid, he fought it in the heat. He was outnumbered in the heat, and he was outnumbered in the main event, and that kid freaking willed that car.
I was overly impressed with him.
I talked to him a little bit after the heat. I said, "Man, I gotta know what the hell is in your car. What is your drivetrain? Like that thing didn't die. That thing ran damn
Yeah.
good all night." And that
And
kid he rebuilt it himself.
that's awesome. And
So
we're and just so everyone knows, like we're not trying to tear down the guys that want it because
no,
like like there's a whole nother strategy to winning and a whole nother game plan to winning, and there's a whole nother
Yeah.
like chess game. But what Nate was saying was the guy that won it, he would have probably won anyways. If he would have just turned it up, he could have ended it.
Yeah.
He could have wiped out the second, third place cars sooner if he'd turned it up just a little bit.
And like I said, that's just my opinion. There's nothing wrong with the way they drove. I mean, to me, eventually you will lose all your fans or a lot of the fans if like I don't want to see Utah turned into like you go to a show and there's 1,000 people in the stands.
Yeah. And,
What's great about Utah is I posted it on our Facebook page last night is I mean, you looked at those stands, man, they're packed. I don't
you
want to
know,
lose that.
and I will. I mean, I'll be the first one to admit that there, I have two different drive styles.
Yes, you do.
I've got the one where I show up and I don't give a damn, and I'm just there to junk something, and I don't care about anything but ruining someone's day and just making sure I personally have fun.
Oh yeah.
My other drive style is like I don't know if it's that I want to win or if it's I want to prove that I can drive like everyone else. Because I mean, in my head, I could have won twice as many shows if I wanted to, cut my speeds in half and
Yeah.
chose my shots a lot bigger. But I've that's not ever really been my goal 100%. But at times I do find myself, I'll show up to a derby one night and be like, you know what, I'm gonna see how long I can will tonight. And,
Yeah.
honestly, like 80% of the time that I do that, I fail. Um,
Oh,
I end up getting mad or whatever and turning it up, or,
oh yeah.
it just doesn't work out for whatever reasons. But
Well, I've seen TJ play that game where, he's driving smart the whole night trying to win the show, and then at some point something just kicks in his head. He's like, screw it. I'm not like I don't have enough car left. I'm just gonna go ham. And I've watched him win Mad Dogs off that shit. Like
yeah, which that's the only
it's hard
time
to
he's
drive
winning a
like
Mad Dog Hunt, TJ.
that.
I'm just
But I
kidding.
mean, not to take anything away from Kurt, Shea Bob, or I'm losing his name off the top of my head. Though I've watched Shea Bob turn it up. That guy, if you screw with him long enough, he's gonna turn it up and show you why he's won 200 plus shows.
Yeah, he reminds me a lot of Gus Adams.
Yes.
If the people that don't know Gus Adams, because if you're not from Utah or that maybe you're just newer to the sport, but Gus drove a lot through the early 2000s. He started kind of stepping away about 2015. Um, but Gus really, he's that guy that like not a lot of people wanted to go after him because they knew that if they did, he would turn up and he would junk their shit.
Yep. Yeah. Oh
But
yeah.
if you don't go after Gus,
He's
he's
gonna win
just
the
gonna
show.
hang back and win that show.
Oh
And
yeah.
the only two times I've ever beat him is because I went after him because I told myself if I wait till the end, he'll beat me.
Yep.
And so I literally had to go after him in order to win. Um,
Oh yeah.
I don't think I will beat him more than twice. I mean, I may have placed higher, but I'm talking about actually going home with first place.
Yeah.
I think I've only done that twice with Gus Adams in a main event with me because
Yeah.
he will. I mean, there's nobody out there that won't say that like Gus is a will man. Like he
Oh,
is a
100%.
will man.
And I mean, that's the same thing with the top four that drove last night. It's nothing against the way they drive. It's just like that's not my style I like to watch. But I mean, those guys, they can will a freaking car, man. Like they're strategic, they're smart with their shots. And
And let's be
when,
honest, man, those guys had hell of cars. They had some of the
oh, yeah.
best cars at the show. I mean, honestly, I was very impressed with the quality of cars there last night.
Yeah,
I I thought there
there
was
was some damn good cars.
a really good amount of cars. I thought there was a good variety.
Yeah.
And then the cars that I did look at, I thought was built pretty well.
Oh, yeah. Like I sat there probably for like an hour watching cars go through tech. And I stood there in awe because there were so many damn good looking, mean looking cars there for a stock show that
Yeah.
I was like, God, this is like the old days, man. Like this shit's wicked. Like
It-
seeing all the Wyoming guys as freaking Sueys, and then you have all those freaking nasty looking GMs, and then you got the Y framers.
yeah.
Like it was a good day watching that
You
stuff.
know, like, yeah, last night's show might have been just a stock show, but let's be honest, man. May Mania is it's the generally known as the first Derby of the year. I know Hurricane,
Yeah,
moved into that place like 4 years ago, but
yeah,
for years, May Mania was a
that was the
show that kicked
kickoff.
off the season, and
Yeah,
a lot of these guys have, when May is placed, the beginning of the Derby season, it gives people all winter to build good quality cars. People get
yep.
the Derby bug. It's the first time to go get it out. By the time we hit August, you know, if you ran that same exact class that's down in that same arena, I don't think you would have got the same quality drivers or cars just
No,
because of time, the time
yeah,
frame. So, but overall, I thought it was a good show. The mini cars, I actually enjoyed. I thought the mini car. I've seen better mini car heats, but I
yeah,
oddly enjoyed the wire class more than I did the full weld mini.
yeah. It was fun. It was, dude. Anytime you can see cars bend is what's fun for me, and I think that it amplifies it for the crowd because they're like, "Damn, holy crap! Did you see that thing bend?" Whereas in those mods, you don't always see that.
Yeah.
So
Eh,
it's cool for those guys.
I think what's so special about Derby is I love the variety of classes. That's why like in Heber we try to run a large variety. I mean, the only thing we're missing right now are mini cars and trucks. I mean, we've had mini cars. I mean, obviously we're not running trucks because we had, an issue here a few years back that
I
kind of
don't know what you're talking about.
kind of scared everyone away, here as far as like our fair board and stuff. But
Oh yeah,
um the variety of cars, because yeah, the weld cars don't necessarily bend, but when you get guys in there like a Dylan Yarbrough or Dave Burns, Robbie in his prime. I mean, me on
yeah,
some of my given nights, like when you get guys in there that have these hard cars and they're not afraid to use them because they will hold up. The
yeah.
crowd loves that shit too.
Oh
And
no, 100%.
and then right now, um, if you're any kind of motorhead, a main event or like a really rowdy main event with weld cars, when you've got all those cars wrapped up at 6,000 RPMs constantly, you're hearing this motor and that motor, and you got like the antifreeze burning and the rubber burn. It's just
The
there's
fuel additive
something,
smell.
yeah, you can smell the octane and all that. Like it's just hard to beat.
Oh
And,
yeah,
and and there's something about that too. So like as a spectator, I like watching the variety. I really do.
yeah,
Um, I know not every show's big enough to run a variety, so most shows zero in on one main class with maybe one or two filler heats. I know like derbies like Eagle Mountain and Camas, Manti, those guys have really taken to the one and dones, which gives you a good variety. Those shows have been excellent. And I think I think they've been so excellent because of the variety. Like the
yeah.
crowd was loving the mini cars. They're loving, the wire cars bending, the weld cars with their loud engines. Camus they literally have 80s wire, old iron wire, weld, trucks, mini cars. I mean,
You name it, they'll do it.
yeah, I mean, they've literally like that it's just fun having the
Oh
variety.
yeah.
Um, but
Well, and not to stray too far away, I just want to touch base. Like for the A main, our winners were Kurt Zacharias. He's from it says Minnesota. Then we had Shea Walden from North Dakota. And then the kid in the Shockers name is Lin Lyndon Franzrib from British Columbia. If I screwed that name up, I apologize.
I might
But
have to make a trip up to Canada and see how
hey, I
them
heard they're trying to
Canadian
get rid of all
shockers
their
are
old
built.
cars. Yeah, those guys can build them. And then in our mini cars, we had Mr. Dakota Wright from somewhere in Utah. I think it's I want to say Brigham, but I'm probably wrong. He took first, and then you had Tyler Warner took second, and then there was a joint hit for third, which I know you weren't down there. I was down there. Like at the very end of that mini car heat, it was a pile up. So they had a joint hit for third place. You had Brandon Sherman and Eric Cox both hit a joint hit. And it was cool because down there they were trying to flip for a trophy, like the flag and such. And Brandon Sherman was so happy that he had won Mad Dog that he told Eric Cox just to take the third place flag, which I thought was awesome. I got some sportsmanship. He's like, man, all I wanted was the Mad Dog. You can have the third place trophy.
Yeah.
So I thought that was cool. And then, I kind of wanted to touch base on the B main because I know that was like flash flood moment. Anybody that didn't get to watch it or was live, that's like if it wasn't for that rain, that A main would have been still 3/4 of an arena with people, but that rain got hard and heavy for a minute.
Yeah.
But the B main was still pretty damn good. Like there was a battle, Jeff Kreisman and Walker. Dude, those two battled it out, and that was one hell of a battle, a strategic battle that, like, in my opinion, was probably the best battle of the night to watch two drivers just go at each other and who's going to put who out. And I think they ended up both getting hung up on each other, which sucks.
So
But it was
I
a
want
hell of
to.
a battle.
I don't want to stray too far away from our conversation, but I do want to bring up a topic on this.
Okay.
I would love to talk about it for 2 or 3 minutes, and then let's get back on track. But I
Okay.
want you to actually throw a Facebook poll up on this, Nate, because I want to
Okay.
hear what everyone else thinks about it. Like, does everyone like the A main, the B main thing? Because I personally do not like it, and I'll give you my reasonings here in just a minute. But I'm just curious what everyone else thinks about the A main, the B main. I think that the people that go out, in the B main, I think they do like it because they still have a chance to win some really good money, whatnot. I know that the grudge matches were getting kind of weird here in Utah for a minute because sometimes there was.
People just go load up.
Yeah, yeah, and now they're kind of giving them a reason to go run and stuff. So I kind of understand that. So I'm going to give my 2 cents on the reason why I don't like the B main.
Okay.
The B main to me, you got a couple drivers like Chrisman or Dookie. Um, I can't think of any right off the top of my head, but you get a couple of these drivers that they go out, something bad happens, they dig themselves a hole, they get hung up, they accidentally hit a driver's door, just something weird like that, and it pulls them out of the opportunity to get to the main, and to me it's like you're not truly getting all the best cars in the main event if you're doing this B main event. The other parts of it I don't like is they pay first place, second place, and third place in the A main. They pay first place, second place, and third place in the B main. So B main winner, if I'm not mistaken, got $5,000 to win the B main last night. Fourth place guy in the A main gets $0. Third place guy in the main gets 2,500, and second place in the A main gets 5,000. So in my eyes, you're actually paying, what was that? 4, 8, 12, 16. You're paying 17th place more than as much as you're paying second, and you're paying 17th place more than you're paying third. That's why I don't like it. It just makes 0 sense to me. Like, I don't like it. There's part of me that wants to like roll in there, go out there, make a hit, pull my flag, then roll into the next heat with a plated up car. And I have a much better chance at winning second place or first place for $5,000 and getting as much as second in the main event.
Yeah.
But with technically lesser competition. So that is my reasonings why I don't like it. I would like to hear what everyone else's thoughts are Because I do know
So
that the reason why Stern Dirt started it is because they wanted to give everyone a chance to win money and get them back in there rather than loading up.
yeah, because I think that's a lot of what happened is they had noticed, you know, when those grudge matches were rolling up, there was a lot of guys that were, you know, they'd go out and make one hit and like something stupid had happened. And instead of going back and effing up their car, you know, they're loading them up and I'll just save it for this show. So I think that's the way Johnny and Gumby decided they wanted to incentivize them to come back out, which, you know, I do understand your point. But I think it's one of those things they're trying to figure out how to keep them coming back and, you know, putting on that extra heat so that the drivers that are out there building for the main have that extra time to finish their cars. I
No,
mean,
and I get
and
it.
I
I mean, I
yeah,
100% get it. I just personally don't like it. I know why they
yeah,
did it, and
yeah,
I know what they're trying to accomplish, but to me, it just the payout's my biggest issue, I guess.
yeah,
I absolutely hate how first place B main guy gets more money than basically third through 16th place in the A main.
yeah. No, and
And
I mean what you're saying 100% makes sense. It's just like I just don't know where you find the common ground to get those guys to come back in. But I mean, I could see somebody eventually just, you know, going out, oh shit, I drew a hard heat,
well, not
pulling that
only that, but
stick back
let's say
in.
you're bringing in a car that's probably not as good. Like I don't even
Yeah,
know. Like let's say a Cordova or a Y framer
yeah,
or let's use a Y framer for example. Like I can tell you a Y framer is going to bend in one of three places
yeah,
with this rule set. Right in front of the A arms, behind the A arms, or the firewall. Those are the three places that car's bending if with this rule set. You go
that's
out
not where
there,
mine bent.
huh?
That's not where mine bent.
Yours bent there, and yours also bent somewhere else. Yours also bent in between the spring bucket, the shock tower, but you're
Yeah,
still bent at the firewall, right?
you're right.
All
You're
right.
right.
So what I'm saying though is what keeps a person from showing up in a wireframer, like you said, they draw a tough heat. They have a much better chance of going out and putting a fresh plate on right in front of the A arms, another one behind the A arms, and one at the firewall, and then going back out into the B main with a fresh plated up subframe
Yeah,
going against the cars that fought down to fourth and fifth place in the heat and junked themselves.
yeah. No,
And
I mean, it's definitely one of those things. Let's put a poll up and, you know, see what everybody else thinks. And I don't want Stern Dirt to think we're bashing them in any way, shape, or form. It's just, it's one of those things that, like, it does make sense what you're saying.
yeah, no, and it's just conversation. I mean,
Yeah.
I get why they're doing it, and if that's their format and that they feel like it helps them put on a better show for the crowd, then they need to keep doing it or whatnot. But as a
Yeah.
driver, I don't like it.
Yeah. No,
I
I
mean,
get that.
as a spectator, the only thing that I really don't love is, I'd like to see at least the guys out of the B main take less money, maybe, but let them advance,
Yeah.
into the A main.
Well, and I have seen them do that in the past where they've had time to, like, hurry and go out and, you know, add fuel, change a tire, or something like that, and throw them back into the A main. I think they did that down in Hurricane like 2 years ago.
I guess what I would like to see is like take the money and pay like fourth place through. I mean, every show's different. I don't know what their purses are, but if you pay fourth place through 16th place, all $1,000, and then maybe the B main, you give those guys 2 grand to win, but then they also get the opportunity
Go back in and
to
win
go
some more.
back in or something, or maybe they just get $1,000 too, but still get the opportunity to go back in. I don't know,
Yeah,
but
I'll definitely get that poll added. Maybe we'll have it up on like Friday through Sunday and kind of see what we get.
yeah,
But
and I would really like after we get the poll, one of these days when maybe we have a slow week in between shows, like before we get in the hard derby season, maybe we can deep dive that more and maybe we can get like 3 or 4 people just to come on and give their opinions and let like
Well, and I'd
create a
even love to
conversation.
get Johnny on and kind of pick his brain about it because I mean,
Yeah,
Johnny will be forefront and honest with you as to why he did it and why he'll continue to do it if that's what he decides to do. You know what I mean?
yeah, for sure.
So there was like nothing that I felt like when we talked to Johnny last week that he was not going to divulge. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So,
All right. Well, that was longer than 2 or 3 minutes, so let's get back on track here. So
so Brad, what was the heat of the night?
the best heat, by far, hands down, no questions asked, the youth heat.
And
It
I'll tell you
was,
what, like I think people are going to get sick of hearing this name because we talk about it like every week. Is who won it?
yeah, Braxton Anderson won, but I mean, guys, like, what the heck? These youth kids are just, it doesn't matter what show I've watched, they're putting on a better show than the grown ass adults.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't
Well,
matter what
let
show
let
I've been to.
let's be fair. It's not their equipment they're ruining, and it's
Oh, I know.
not
That's
their
what I'm
money.
saying. Like these kids have zero fear. They're especially last night with the old iron wire. These guys are running monster motors,
Oh yeah.
powerful drivetrains. They're running, stronger cars. I like holy shit. Like literally, there was a couple hits in there last night. I was like, that might be harder hit than I've ever taken in my life.
Oh yeah.
When you got these little kids out there taking it, it made me a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie. That
Dude,
heat was rowdy.
I looked at my daughter after that heat and I said, "You're not ready for that shit. You're
No,
you're just not. I love you to death. I think you're a great driver, but you're not ready for that."
no, and then that's kind of where I want this conversation to lead now. So Braxton Anderson won. Nate, what you got the list of all the winners?
Yeah, so first place we had Braxton Anderson.
Well,
Second place
Utah
we had
or Grantsville.
second and third place we had the brother and sister Jared and Hunter. So let's see. Jared took second out of Wyoming. Hunter took third, and then Cohen. Oh God, what you Cohen?
Castagno?
Yeah, there you go. I'm glad you saved me from embarrassing myself. He won
Uh,
Mad Dog. And it's
yes.
funny because you and I had a conversation. Somebody walked up to you before that heat and said what?
Watch the American flag car.
And what did he do?
And
He
that kid
delivered.
went ape shit. And I honestly like that kid never lifted off the gas for a moment.
No, no,
And
not at all.
he put on like literally like like at our show we give away that monster award.
He would
Like
have won that.
if that was our show, like he was going away at that. He was the driver of the night by far. He put on one hell of a show. Like literally, there's nobody else, in my opinion, that was close to that kid. I'm not
No.
discrediting what I seen because that youth heat was the nastiest heat, but I'm just saying, in general, that kid tore it up. If you've not
Oh yeah.
watched it, go back, watch the video, watch it twice, watch the whole thing through once, and then go
His
back and watch it again with just watching the American flag car.
his car numbers escaping my brain. What number was that?
It's the best number in Demolition Derby, baby, number 33.
Yeah, he
I,
definitely tore it up. And then when he was out, we had that freaking four-door caddy, man. That kid, he was lighting some stuff up after that.
every single one of them kids out there were
Oh
lighting it up. There wasn't
yeah.
one person out there that you could have called a bagger. Not one person.
No,
That was one of
no.
the best. It is May, okay? If I see a better heat than that in the year 2025, I'll be surprised.
Yeah.
And
That
that
was a
counts for
quality heat.
every class, every show across the state of Utah. I don't know if there will be a better heat than that heat.
Yeah. No, they those kids are something special. And I mean, it's not just even the group of kids that drove last night. It's they're dude, it's just fun to watch them.
Yeah. It
But
was
I mean,
it was fun. It really got me excited for Derby season that one because I was like, oh man, this is awesome, rowdy. Like They were driving as hard as they could, and but that kind of goes back to the one and dones, man. Every one and done running that rule class just seems to be more aggressive because
I agree.
you're just one and done. Oh man, it was great. It really was, guys. Like
I'll
if you
I'll
were
tell
in
you.
that heat last night, hats off to you guys. Um, Absolutely amazing. I am beyond thrilled with your guys' performance. Great job. Keep it up.
Two
Um,
thumbs up from this guy.
yeah, I mean, you guys are what Utah Demolition Derby is all about. And as, a senior citizen in the sport of Utah Demolition Derby, like I couldn't be more proud of this group of kids coming up to replace us.
I think the only thing that missed out of that show is some of the kids that have advanced into adult classes now that they're over the age of 18.
Yeah, but I mean, they're trailblazers. I mean, these guys
Oh
coming
yeah.
right behind them.
Yep.
Hell of a performance. Um,
Well, and what a year for Braxton so far. He's 2-0.
yeah. So
2-0.
let's shift gears over to Braxton for a minute. Braxton, we're gonna
Okay.
pick on you for a minute, buddy. Um, Braxton goes out. I thought he drove pretty dang good. I watched
Yeah, oh
him,
yeah.
I watched him as much as I could, but when I was kind of glued to the American flag car, so it was kind of hard to watch everybody. But um, I thought Braxton drove really well. He used up that car. I mean,
Yeah.
he had a rollover in the top three. Um, he earned that W just as much as anyone else deserves it. I
Well,
was,
and he did a good job of keeping himself clean and how fast paced that heat was.
yep,
I mean, he wasn't really hurt until like the top five, and then his car definitely was showing some a little wear and tear on it.
yeah. So I was really disappointed last night seeing some comments on Stern Dirt's page, kind of bashing on Braxton, saying that Braxton now has won an adult show, team show with his uncle, and now just won the youth show, and he needs to advance up and move on. But
You're
guys,
crazy.
he is 15 years old. He
It's
can't
not
even
his.
legally drive down to the grocery store and get a gallon of milk.
No, and it's not his fault. He's the driver he is. It's not fair to limit him and say, "Hey, you're too good. You're winning too much. You need to advance to these guys that have been driving for 10 or 15 years. You need to go against them every time."
If we did that, they should have kicked Michael Jordan out of basketball, kick Kobe
Yep.
Bryant, LeBron James, kick them out. They're too good.
Yeah. Yep.
Like it's not his fault that he's that good. He's got if you haven't met his family, you should definitely go over there and spend 10 or 15 minutes meeting his family. They are so supportive of him.
Yep.
They have turned it into a family sport.
Oh yeah.
His
You.
dad, his grandpa, his brother-in-law, uncles, everybody is pitched in to help this kid. He's chasing his dreams, and to
Yeah.
see some of the negative comments last night really, honestly, just pissed me off because he, at 15 years old, he's put in the work, he's put in the time. He's doing great things. And you know what? He will advance. He will move on in a couple years. But here in Heber, we had a conversation because of people like Braxton, his cousin,
Easton.
no, Hanson,
Oh, Wyatt.
Wyatt. We kind of had a conversation. These guys are definitely way more advanced than like your average 12-year-old or a 14-year-old girl that's driving for the first time. That's why we decided to split our youth classes, and we're doing a beginner's youth and we're doing an advanced youth. So,
Well, let's understand something as well. Like this heat that Stern Dirt is putting on the old iron wire. What is it for? It's
it,
for the advancement of these young kids.
yes, and that's exactly where I was headed. So in Heber, it's 15 years and younger. So technically, Braxton meets the age requirement to drive in that heat. But
Yeah.
we also put on there if you've won first place or Mad Dog, we're making you move up because we
Yep.
want to leave the beginners youth for true beginners for the true youth beginners to get in, get their feet wet, and go on. But then the advanced youth is for the older kids because you can't tell me that a 16 or 17-year-old boy that has raced dirt bikes his whole life or BMX bike or played football, you can't tell me that he's way more mentally mature than a 12-year-old boy or girl that is still in middle school. You just
Yeah.
can't tell me that. And so that's the whole reason why we decide to split our classes and go up, because we're trying to get it to that way. But Braxton, yeah, he's 15. He can drive with the older kids, and because he won, he obviously would have to. Now,
Yeah.
now going over to Stern Dirts, they are running the old iron wire. So everywhere else in the state of Utah except for Camas is running 80s wire
80s wire.
for their youth classes. It's bone stock build, not big motors, not big rear ends and slider drive lanes, none of that. It's bone stock cars. The what you witnessed last night was it was advanced drivers. Now, I'm sure that there was some beginners in there, true beginners, and I don't know if these guys knew what they were getting into, and maybe Stern Dirt should probably do a better job. I'm not saying they didn't because I don't know. So I'm just saying maybe they need to make sure these people understand this is not a beginner's class.
Yeah.
This is for true, like the advanced kids, because I'm telling you right now, I know I was sitting next to a kid that is 15 years old that is, I don't even think he's 15, honestly. I think he's 14. Maybe he is 15, but he's 6 foot tall, 250 pounds, and there ain't no way in hell he had any business being out on that track last night.
No.
Like there's no way
I
he could have been out there for his first show.
no, I look at like even Brindley. Brindley's drove in 4 or 5 shows now. I don't give a shit if you give her your stage two straight. I'm not putting her out there
She's even
with
drove
those
with the
kids.
women in the powder puff.
Yeah,
But
and
what you seen last night, honestly, like from an entertainment value, I mean, there's no way I could score that heat any higher. That was 100%, a 10 for 10, 5 stars, like
that's
it
a
top of
chef's
the
kiss.
charts. It was the
Chef's
best.
kiss.
But I will tell you, I mean, it made me nervous if there was like a 12-year-old girl out there for her first time, like
I,
holy shiz balls. It could
so
potentially ruin it for her.
looking at all those cars, I mean, I remember seeing like one metric GM that maybe they it was their first time. Hell, it could have been somebody who knew what the hell they were doing. But I mean, you had those two girls from Cali and that Holt family, man. Those guys can build some cars.
Oh man,
They were there.
I looked in their cars and I kind of chuckled and I said, geez, they got more time in their cages than my whole entire wire car. I mean,
Well,
every piece is custom built for every bolt-in part of that
oh
car.
yeah, it it's a beautiful car.
And I
Both of them were.
really, really would have liked to see the girl in the Doba get out of the corner because when she was stuck down there listening to that motor just sing and her trying to get out of there, I would have liked to see what she could have done with that car
When
had
they
she got
said
out.
go, that girl held it to the floor.
Yeah.
She did not give two shits. Anybody that was in front of her was getting hit.
I'm like really bummed that I probably won't get to see that girl drive that car, like, because
Yeah.
they're headed back to
Justin
Cali.
was saying that one of those cars had a coiler in it and one of them had a stage two Schrade.
That's awesome. I really would
What?
have. I'm actually gonna probably try to follow where she runs that car because I just out of curiosity, I'd really like to walk
Oh
her.
yeah.
I
You're the
was
K-frame
really,
kid, but
she was
you were
right
the
in front of me, and
K-frame
I was
kid.
really like, oh God, somebody hit her out of there. Because all that happened is a car hit her and like in the trunk, and it had all the weight like on the back bumper, and she buried
Pushed
down.
her
And
right down and
if
buried it.
they actually, somebody did hit the other car and got her unhooked, but she'd already buried herself so deep she couldn't get out. So,
Yeah.
but
We know you're gonna follow that car. You were the K-frame kid, now you're the caddy daddy.
ugh, I love those little doubles, though, man. And especially like with that being that kind of build, they still shine in my eyes.
Those things are so easy to maneuver around a freaking track too.
Oh yeah, they're fun. I mean, they've got their obviously their weaknesses, but everything does. But anyhow, hats off to the youth drivers. Um, you guys are
Hats off to
awesome.
Stern Dirt. I mean, dude, they were stressing all week about the weather. Johnny pushed it as fast as he could. I don't know if you even noticed. I didn't notice until I was thinking about it today. I'm like, dude, there's no entertainment. There's no frozen t-shirt
Yeah.
contest. There was
There,
nothing. Like,
I have two compliments and one complaint. Maybe two complaints. But compliment number one was the arena was great for the week that we had here in Utah with the rains, the micro storms all week.
you couldn't tell. Like,
To
you
what?
could not tell that it had stormed.
No, and I really liked if you watch Sheet One, that dirt was super dry, and I really
Yeah.
liked how they kept the moisture out of that throughout the week. I don't know what they did. I don't know if they like rolled it to seal it up or whatnot, and then tilled it the day of, but they did a great job. So whoever did the arena, fantastic job. The compliment number two, exactly what you said. Last night, the pace was pushed. The entertainment was, and honestly, like when you got that probably is a compliment back to the B main is
Yeah.
you don't have to give these guys times to fix their cars to get back into a main but an A main, but they pushed that pace last night of that show, and it was really good because as a dad there without his support system, aka my wife, my kids are very restless. They get cold, they get tired, and a night wears on those little kids pretty quick. So
Oh yeah.
to have them push that show, I was fantastic. My two complaints coming out of the show, Mother Nature pissed on us during the B main. That came down. That really sucked. It pushed the crowd out. And the other complaint was I'm sure it happens everywhere, but that damn tractor driver gave me anxiety. I thought he was gonna hit somebody.
He
He
was
should
cruising.
he was in like eighth gear. He needed to bump that thing back to fourth gear.
Oh
Um,
yeah, and I I agree with that. They got a little sketchy in there.
oh
There's one
dude,
time he's come by me. I'm like, no, I'm getting up there.
I watched at least four officials slash drivers have to jump out of the way, and I watched two pieces of equipment, including the tractor, both had to lock up their brakes for near
Hey,
misses, and I was like,
hey,
"Holy shit!" I had
he was there
anxiety.
for a demolition derby, bud.
He was there
He
for
was there for
something.
a derby.
It's all fun and game till the Black Widow comes around and freaking breaks your ankles, bud.
I mean, that's not. I can't remember what derby I was at. I fucking, or sorry, drop the F bomb. I freaking got tagged in the back of the freaking hills with a freaking skidster,
Yeah,
about drop me to the dirt.
yeah. But
No,
other than those
and
two things, the show was great. I'll tell you what, the one my kids had a fantastic time. The Gumby and Johnny had the a bubble machine for the power
dude,
wheels
that
thing. If you notice, the
every
kids
single one of those kids, man, ear to ear grin, just having a good old time.
and they didn't give a shit about Derby, and they just wanted to drive through the bubbles.
Oh yeah, your boys I watched come through 3 or 4 times, just ear to ear grin, going through the bubbles.
Oh man, I'll have to see if we can get a picture up. But they come through the bubbles, and it's clear up over their hoods. And they got the monster trucks. There was one little girl went through. She came out the other side, and you couldn't even see her. Me and another gentleman run over and I pulled the bubbles out of her face because you couldn't see her. But
And that, dude, that's the one thing I do love about Stern Dirt is like when it comes to those freaking kids, man, they literally do anything they can to make it fun for them. Like those little itty bitty kids,
yeah,
like, and I mean, they were the ones who brought the freaking Power Wheels to
yeah,
Utah. I mean, we'd seen it on there, and I know there was a couple people on Facebook like, "Hey, you guys got to do this. You got to do this." They pulled the trigger and did it.
yeah. It's fantastic. My kids are just getting into it. They were a little disappointed in Dad because Derby Day, and I told them to go load up the Power Wheels, and they asked if they got their new motors installed. I said no. What about our bumpers? And I said no. What about our headers? I said no. Our shifters? No. I let them down in all phases. So I promise you guys that their parts will be on before the next time they run because I'm not
When's that one?
disappointing my little kids again.
Is Eagle Mountain having one?
I believe so, yes.
You better get your ass in
Yeah,
gear.
I know.
You got 3 cars to finish.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But Yeah, I gotta at least get their motors on, even if I don't get the rest of it on. I've just been insanely busy with work, and
Oh yeah, it happens.
I thought 2 months ago I had plenty of time, and then I've been working basically 8 days a week since then, and it's been really hard to find time. So I'll do better, guys. I'll do better. And if you're at home and you got kids, do better. That's all I'm gonna say. Let's just do better.
Oh yeah.
So
And we definitely will end up getting Johnny and those guys back on, Johnny and Gumby, and talk some of their other shows as they come up.
yeah,
Uh I know the next couple weeks we have some fun ones. We want to try to get with Nick and Alex, try to get those guys on for Eagle Mountain because it's coming up. I know I've reached out to Tripler, haven't really got a response. Hopefully he decides to join us. And then we also are in talks right now with getting Rob Baker and Cody Pete on for Border Wars.
yeah. Which I hope we get them on, guys. That's a really interesting concept. I haven't heard anything about that until we actually started talking to those guys. Um, they, I mean, I'll tell you just a quick 30-second rundown, but they bring in 8 cars from different states and they draw heats just like a normal derby. You draw a heat. You could end up with 5 guys from Utah in one heat. You could end up with one guy from Utah in a heat, but you derby. And then you head into the main event, normal as normal could be, but you get paid. Um, Money as whoever places like in the main event. Like if I believe if like a guy from Utah were to win, then everybody gets like $1,000 or something. I don't know. We'll
Yeah.
get them on and talk about it because it's been a month since we've talked to them, but it's a really cool concept. You know, Nate and I actually were talking about going out and watching it. Like, I don't think it's going to happen because Nate's on vacation now and I'm so busy I don't think I could sneak away, but you never know. You never know. We might get some Delta Sky Miles last second, spur of the moment, flights out, hit it for 48 hours to get back. But I'm really interested. I think it'd be fun as hell to get 8 guys from Utah together, build
Yeah.
a little, I don't know if you want to call it a dream team, but yeah, I mean, because 8 good competitive guys will go out and have a good time. Because to me,
Hey,
you're
let me
probably
tag
not
along
going.
because if one of you guys win, I don't have to do shit.
Yeah, but I mean, just it's one of them things, though. Honestly, like, who cares if you win? It's the memory that
Oh yeah.
if you look back here, 15, 20 years from now and be like, hey, remember that time the 8 of us went out there and drove that derby? Hell yeah, the
Oh
road
yeah.
trip was fun. We did this. It was a great time. Like, that's what's gonna be special
Well,
about a trip like that, not
dude,
necessarily
and even
win or
that's kind of
lose.
what I was telling Sid on the way to California today. I said, being at the show last night just reminded me of why I love Demolition Derby, man. It's the people that make Demolition Derby special. Dude, I'm pretty freaking shy, you know that. And I was out there talking to everybody that I could. Anybody that listened to me talk, I was talking to. And dude, there's so many great people in this sport. Like, frick, man. It it was just awesome yesterday. That's all I can say about it.
Yeah. It was a good one. Good start to the year. Let's see here. Next on the docket for Utah is Tree Mountain.
Yep, that
That
is not next weekend, but the following weekend. I'll be down there taking photos for those guys, so I'll be able to have a front row seat to how that show goes. And you know, I, they usually have a pretty good turnout. A lot of Twilla guys, a lot of you know Box Elder and Cache County guys that run up there.
that's 80s wire class and 80s motor swap for a filler. Um,
Yep.
Following week is Eagle Mountain. Eagle Mountain's been around for about, oh gosh, it's probably got to be around 15 years now. Um,
So
that's
14,
really,
I believe,
yeah,
because
14.
about
That's
14.
turned into a fantastic show for what it is. Like, they only have
Yeah.
3,000 seats. They sell out in minutes. But that one's kind of like in a weird time of the year. If it was at the end of the year, I think it'd be more successful. Or if they could find a way to put in another 3 to 6,000 seats. I know that that show would sell 8,000 seats if they had them.
Yeah, for sure.
They don't have a huge purse, so that's where they struggle. But Nick and Alex has done a good job. Dwight's started that show. It was a great show. It's been a great show. It is a great show. Fun atmosphere. It's really late. That to me is an epitome of like true county fair in Utah.
Oh
Like
yeah, for
it is
sure.
just so relaxed, no bullshit, no stress, super fun. I mean, I think the whole show's 2.5 hours. You're out of there. Um,
Yeah,
Nick's
it'll be fun to get
running
those guys on.
Nick's running youth 80s wire, adult 80s wire, old iron wire, and then I think he's doing a wipeout. I think he's doing power wheels. The one thing that is kind of unique to that show, they do big barrel racing.
Yeah.
So anything that you want to bring a barrel race, your truck, your side by side, your motorcycle, your golf cart, your tractor, a horse, a cow, whatever. It's
20
like,
bucks says you won't take your boys' Power Wheels on around the barrel race.
but I got on those once and I bent the axles, so off limits now. But
Well, dude, this has been a freaking killer episode. It's been fun because now we actually have a derby under our belt, and I think it's only going to get better this summer.
yeah, it's gonna be good. Stick with us, guys. We'll get through these next two shows. Then we pretty much have a month break until we hit Logan, Utah, and then from there it is weekend after weekend,
Yep.
pretty much all the way through the state fair,
Yeah.
which is the middle of September. So, um,
I just want to tell Stern Dirt, thanks for putting up with my shit and letting me be there and take photos. And thanks for putting on a damn good show that got our bloods pumping.
yes, if you know, Nate, I'm gonna put you on the spot real quick before we go.
Yes, sir.
Um, I think I want to start doing. We'll come up with a name for it, but I think Headers to Headphones will start doing like um, our favorite driver for each show.
Okay.
Because we weren't at Dixie. Maybe we'll give it to Zeb and Braxton just for pulling off the W.
Okay.
Last night we're giving it to car 33, the American flag car in the youth heat. Um,
Okay.
we'll get these guys like a shirt made up and we'll get it sent out to them.
Yes, sir, we can.
We'll just start doing that. Something fun for us to do. Just
Yeah.
we're gonna give it to people that just stand out for one reason or another. It doesn't mean it's the hardest driver. It doesn't mean it's because of who won. Maybe somebody did something for charity or
Come in.
something. But we'll do something. We'll come up with a name, like Headers to Headphones Driver of the Week, and then we'll give it out.
We
So,
will.
but
Well, all right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us with this episode. We really do appreciate you guys listening to us and putting up with our bullshit.
yep, have a good one, and guys, better get those cars built. The season's here, so get out there in the shop and turn some wrenches.
Let's get after it. Anybody that wants to go work on my car while I'm gone, you got the thumbs up.
Nate, you lazy bastard.